We are crushing this. We can start a podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Anonymous Super Seniors. What's up, fellas?
What's up, boys? Good to see you.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure.
Been a couple weeks since we did this.
Yeah, I mean, it's what? I mean, we did our episode before the Super Bowl, and then it's about 2 weeks after.
2 weeks
right?
after,
like
yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So how you feeling, Mr. World Champ?
Flashing the Super Bowl champs hat.
What can I say? I couldn't be happier.
I mean, what was your overall thoughts of the game? I'm curious to hear from your perspective.
Well, we're going to get into that. That's kind of where we're going.
Okay.
So, anything you guys want to say before we go right into what we're going to talk about?
No, excited to dive into it. I think that that Super Bowl was a different game than what we predicted in the last podcast. So excited to dive into it and talk about what really happened.
Yep. Yeah, we'll try and make it quick for you, Ken, so you can get your DoorDash.
Okay, well,
all right.
I'm just going to leave it out there. So
okay.
I just wanted a drink.
Should stay cold.
Whatever. Okay, let's
all right. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Let's talk about it. Overall thoughts. Anybody want to go? Braden, I want to hear your thoughts.
What are my thoughts? I mean, it went way different than I expected. I mean, what a blowout, to say the least. I mean, obviously the score looked better than it really was, but holy cow, like, the Eagles looked incredible. The Chiefs looked like a dumpster fire. I mean, it was nothing like I expected it to be.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
You probably weren't stressing at all during the whole game, were you?
No, it felt good. It felt good to not have to stress.
I think most of
great.
America was in the same seat there, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Eagles fans, but I don't really know if there's too many. Outside of Chiefs fans, I don't think there was too many people who were hoping the Chiefs would pull off the three-peat.
Yeah, I don't think there was. I mean, all the Swifties, obviously, but
Yeah, I mean,
fair.
But it's. Yeah, no, it was. I thought it was an interesting game. It was. I mean, I think for anybody that watched it that's not a Chiefs fan, I think that final score was 40-7, 40-6, right?
Oh, yeah, realistically.
40-7.
I mean, the less. I mean, the final score, if people didn't watch it, was what, 40-22, I think was.
Yeah, 40-22.
But the last 15 points were just garbage time points. Eagles were celebrating already.
I mean, it was 34-0 with like 4 minutes left in the third quarter. So, I mean, the game was over way before that. But I mean, and I mean, being a Broncos fan and obviously the Chiefs being in my division, I loved it. I am not a Patrick Mahomes fan by any means.
Brady got the warm and fuzzies watching that.
I did actually. Yeah, so it was a good game.
I think that's the part, and sorry if I jumped in front of you, Chris, but
no, you're good.
I think that's the part that I liked the most about the game was that the Eagles they played with such a chip on their shoulder, and like everything was personal. Like I loved, who was it that Patrick Mahomes threw up like an offsides ball? It was intercepted. It clearly
CJ.
Yeah, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Like, clearly it wasn't going to count for anything, but he still housed it just to
stick it to him.
Just to stick it to him.
I love it.
Like, I love that kind of mentality. I think there's a time and a place for it. I think it's a little too common now where, like, kids are seeing people get a little bit arrogant, but I love just a little bit of, sportsmanship where it's just like, hey, just so you know, like, we're going to be here. We're going to be here all day.
Just twist that knife, a little bit of piss and vinegar in every single play.
There's a picture of CJ with his hands behind his back and, Travis Kelce asking for a flag. Travis Kelce was getting in his face.
Yeah.
It was trying to rile him up, and CJ just had his hands behind his back, just kind of like, go ahead, dude. Like, I'm not going to retaliate. I'm not going to waste this game away.
Yeah, CJ hit him after he dropped a ball, and he didn't like it very much. I loved it. I thought it was great. But there was a couple things that I thought was interesting in this game, and I'm looking at the rushing yards for Kansas City for the game. Do you guys know what it is?
I mean, I
Didn't
know
have,
it was
like,
low.
30 yards or something. Like, no,
I
that's
They
feel like
had-
it was lower than that.
They had 49 total rushing yards, and Patrick Mahomes had 25 of them.
well,
Oh,
I think
gosh.
there was a stat where like at the half, I think they had 4 rushing attempts total, like 4 actual running plays. And the announcers came out at halftime and were like, maybe they should start running the ball. Like, maybe we should start trying to do this. I think Patrick Mahomes had like 22 passing attempts in the first half.
Yeah.
Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, I wasn't. I was just. Go ahead.
I just think that it's hard to run against that Philly defensive front. Like,
Yeah.
that defensive front is insane, and those linebackers are active. They fly to the ball. Like, I think it was clear that Philly's obviously the offense played phenomenal, but I think the defense was the real standout for Philly, despite the not taking anything away from what Jalen did and how incredible of a game he had. Absolutely, give him all the props. He was a stud. He stepped up in the moment. And I'm a big fan of Jalen, and we can talk about that later. But I feel like the defense they didn't get caught up in all the penalties. I think there was a couple that maybe didn't get called, but that happens all the time. That happens in every single game they play. But they kept they didn't blitz. They didn't
Not one.
blitz at a single time. Sacked Patrick Mahomes a ton. Like, the secondary was stellar the entire game. Like, it really took Mahomes and the entire Kansas City offense out of their groove, I think, and it was a phenomenal defensive performance in my opinion.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, Kansas City, there was no momentum at any point in the game, right? They couldn't get anything going, like, buttoned up from Philly on all sides of the ball. Like, super fun to watch them. Just beat down Kansas City. It was great.
Yeah.
Chris, I have a question for you, because obviously you weren't very stressed during that game. At
No.
what point in that game did you realize, like, we got this in the bag? Or were you stressing the whole time? What were your thoughts?
No, so I knew there was a good chance that it was over. Probably halfway through, towards the end of the second quarter and going into the beginning of the third. But then when Jalen bombed that ball to Devontae Smith for the touchdown,
What a ball.
it was over. From there for me, it was like there's that big of a play going into the third quarter. You're not coming back from that, especially when you're going up 34-0.
Yeah, that was a dagger play for sure.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
you could tell from like the middle of the second quarter, like anytime they showed Patrick Mahomes, like he was just rattled. Like you don't see it, you don't see that very often from a guy of his caliber. Obviously, he's regarded as going down and will be one of the best to ever do it. But it was
Not the
just
best, but
one of the best, I should say.
You did.
but-
I was just clarifying.
No, that's fair. But I do think that it was interesting because you could see it on their sideline. Like, Travis Kelce, you could see was visually. And then, like, Mahomes goes down to basically lay a goose egg and play his worst game of his career, potentially one of the worst Super Bowl, performances ever up until the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
His stat line does not tell the full story
No.
at all. I think he had 49 passing yards in the first half. And, like, I don't know the exact stat, but it was really, really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, his final stats are 3 touchdowns, but
It wasn't.
it
No,
wasn't.
no,
It
no.
didn't look like 3 touchdowns to me.
No.
But yeah, going back to Canyon's talking about the sacks, they didn't blitz one time. Not one blitz was called, and they had 6 sacks.
That's wild.
Like,
Insane.
that defensive front is unreal.
I mean, I am not a Patrick Mahomes fan by any means. Do not like the guy, but being able to only rush 4, maybe 5, and drop everybody else is going to be hard for anybody. And
Yeah.
Very difficult.
so that's why I feel like the defense was just The defense made it so that the Philly offense could stick within their game plan, do what they do best, and not have to go outside of it.
Yeah.
They just capitalized on the things that they're good at. They didn't have to try to keep pace with the Chiefs or whatever. They were just able to play their game, do their thing, and they did it phenomenally across the board. It seemed like offense, defense, special teams, Eagles were by far the best team on the field.
Yeah.
Bar none.
For sure.
And my boy Coop. My boy Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
What
My
a
boy.
dog.
On his birthday.
Yeah.
On his birthday.
Birthday pick 6 in the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes. That's
Yeah, that's
pretty good.
what a
What a
birthday.
dog.
First
Yeah.
pick of his
That was
career.
unforgettable.
Yeah. Yep. That was a good one. Sorry, Brad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, man. I mean, speaking of that, like, I remember seeing pictures of him after that, like, running into the end zone, like, super high, like, coolest picture I've ever seen. I bet he's
Yeah.
got that hung up on his
Oh,
wall.
has to.
I saw
That
it.
dude's on top of
It's-
the world.
It's
saw
got to
a
be
clip
your
the-
wallpaper.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Everywhere.
Blown up
I
everywhere.
saw a clip the other day, and it was basically Cooper DeJean that basically was saying that every time he sees that clip come up of his pick,
He watches it.
He watches.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I saw that too.
He's like I can't scroll past it. I
I
have
would-
to
How
watch
could
it."
you?
No.
How could you? Imagine that.
And it wasn't like it was like a walk-in, like it, like
Yeah.
he had a
No,
lot
he
of
had to make-
space, but he
yeah,
made
he
a
had to
great
make some
play,
moves.
like
Yeah, and
the
honestly,
great
I mean,
white hope. You know, I mean,
Hey man, they're on their way back into the league. I'm telling you what.
The
You got
exciting
Riley-
whites,
you got,
baby.
You
Let's
got, Riley,
go.
you got Riley Moss. You got Reed Blankenship.
You got
DeJean.
Coop.
They're coming back.
The
dude.
exciting whites, baby.
The one-
coming back.
let's
the
go.
once fully extinct white DB is now making a resurgence.
I love it so
Oh,
much.
That's great. Yeah,
remember
I mean,
a
go ahead,
couple-
Brady.
I was saying a couple of years ago. Just remember when like Deion Sanders made that comment about that one safety coming out of Penn State. I can't remember his name, but it was at the combine, and Deion was said something along the lines of like, yeah, and he's white. Like he's like, man, he ran a 4.34. He's like, and he's white.
Oh, jeez.
It was like wild.
Yeah.
I was talking to a buddy of mine who played Division I football. He has a pretty well-known name in the space. His family does as well. And he was telling me he was talking to his uncle about this, and he's like, "Yeah, it's like the Jackie Robinson of the times nowadays, but in reverse." And I was dying.
Jeez.
Not my
Mean.
words. Not my words.
And, I mean, it's definitely a similar story. It's not wrong.
I'm a big fan of Will Compton's, full whites team that he's putting together.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. You follow that.
I love Will Compton.
with the boys.
That's
So
funny.
Bussin' with the boys, but
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, so we kind of talked a little bit about Patrick Mahomes and being the greatest quarterback, and we all agree that we don't think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Pretty dang good. Will go down in the Hall of Fame as one of the best.
Yeah.
So, obviously, who do you think, other than Patrick Mahomes, do you think it's Tom Brady?
I don't think there's any shadow of a doubt
That it's Tom Brady?
That is Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Winning three in a row would have been a pretty substantial feat. I think we've all seen interviews of people that talk about going to the Super Bowl, how hard it is, like how much of a testament it is to like the entire team, pulling through and doing what they do. And so winning three in a row would have been an insane feat. But you could cut Brady's career in half, and his accolades for half of his career are still better than what Mahomes or anybody else has done, just on the winning side of things.
Yeah.
And what I love is, like, he did it in two different organizations, right? He did it with the Patriots multiple times, went to Tampa Bay. Like, yes, he had weapons around him, but, like, to come in, have that leadership, to push a team to the Super Bowl with what you have around you, like, I think that shows some greatness there as well.
Well,
to
and that
continue to do that.
you can kind of compare that to like an Aaron Rodgers, right? Goes from the Packers with weapons around him, does great, goes to the Jets, has some weapons. He didn't do very good. They didn't have a good season. So it's not like everybody can just go do it, right? I as much as I hate Tom Brady, I think he's got to be the best.
left his good Achilles in Wisconsin.
Maybe he's got to put down, what is it that he...
his
Ashwagandha or whatever.
yeah,
he's
whatever
taking.
it
I
is.
don't know what he's doing.
Human powder or whatever. That he
human powder.
Human.
Oh,
Can you explain
I
what
said
human-
human powder.
He's into some freaky stuff.
This guy, he's on the black market.
I don't even want to know or go down that
This dude's got
rabbit
his-
hole of what human powder would consist of.
It doesn't get
I'm
caught on
ter-
the NFL drug tests.
I am terrified of the contents of what would be in a human powder.
This dude's got the
So-
urns of all his ancestors up on his mantle, just waiting for the season to start, baby. Let's go.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised at this point
Yeah,
with Aaron Rodgers.
He's kind of a
He's a
freak when
hippie.
it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, he's a hippie for sure.
But I definitely said human powder.
Okay.
Human powder. Okay.
Spicy human.
No, I think kind of jumping back to the conversation of Tom versus Patrick. To your point, Canyon, I think I saw a graphic the other day that even kind of broke it down. Passing yards, passing touchdowns, and just like the effectiveness that he had in the second half of his career compared to Patrick Mahomes, and the same time frame. And I think Tom had one more Super Bowl in that same time frame, and it had beat him in every single category or measurable that there was. I think one of the reasons that made Tom Brady so good is he was even. I mean, yeah, he had Bill Belichick as a coach, and their defense was phenomenal. But Tom was just one of the best pre-snap quarterbacks ever. Like, it was much more than that. Like Patrick. A lot of Patrick Mahomes' success comes from his legs. It's his playmaking ability to get around. Tom didn't have that.
No.
Like he wasn't
was
a mobile
slow.
quarterback. the dude was that. Yeah, you see his combine pick. They use it as a joke every year at the combine now. But he was a slouch. He was kind of tall, lanky, slow. But he was a pocket passer, and that's where all of his effectiveness came from. Patrick Mahomes, most of his plays or a lot of his plays are kind of broken plays. Like, they're not true, what we used to call that pocket passer. And so I think that's an interesting thing to look at as well.
Yeah, and I know that you mentioned that he had Bill Belichick, but I think there's even some conversation there about, like, was it Bill or was it Tom that was the reason that they were so successful? Because, Brady dips, goes to Tampa, wins one at Tampa. What happens to the Patriots after Brady leaves with Bill Belichick still there?
Downhill.
I mean, mention that he made it in the 3 years in Tampa. He made it to 2.
Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
it wasn't just just that he won one. It was he made it to 2. Like
And
had the
Tampa,
opportunity to win 2.
And Tampa was bad. Like Tampa
weren't good.
Was
No, they were not good.
Was not
It's
a good team.
quick turnaround. Like, second.
Yeah, well, you bring in Tom Brady and Gronk. That's what you bring.
Yeah.
Really. There was a couple others that I don't remember, but your main ones are Tom Brady and Gronk, and you go to the Super Bowl immediately. Like,
well, and I think that's going to be the difference. I think that's why after this particular performance, I think that the case is pretty much closed. It's just that Brady would have never. You saw that Mahomes was defeated. Like, you saw that Mahomes was mentally out of the game.
Yeah.
They were beat. The team gave up, and they followed Mahomes' lead, and they were not in that game. Even when Xavier Worthy and DeAndre Hopkins caught their touchdowns, they weren't excited. They knew the game was over.
Yeah.
Like, Brady would have never have let that happen. He would have never have dipped his. He would have never have felt like he was out of the game until the final whistle.
And he showed it. He showed it.
And
They were down
28
28-3.
And he came back and he just did his thing, and his team rallied around him like that. I feel like that sometimes gets put aside as like a quality of guys that can get other guys to play up to their level, or like to match their intensity. And Brady could get, like, Edelman and these guys were studs, but they weren't these freak athletes. He just accentuated the things that they were good at. Guys played hard for him and showed up, and that's why they were able to do the things that they were able to do. But with Patty, like this last Super Bowl,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you think about the other greats, like in any sport, right? Tom Brady has that mentality. Kobe Bryant, that mentality. Michael Jordan, like, absolute dogs. Like, they will not falter when things get tough. Like they're 100%. Like they will not show you that they're going to lose. They're going to win this game no matter what, even if they're down by 50. And I think it's that mentality that comes along with the understanding of the game, the work ethic. Like when you have that mentality, that's when you start getting in that conversation of greatest of all time.
And I think that it comes back to like the margin of victory, right? If they're going to lose, they're going to make you earn it. That was the number one.
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
That was one of the things the stat that I saw after the Super Bowl that I thought was interesting. I think in Tom, on all his Super Bowls, his combined margin, like his loss margin was like minus 15. So like he never lost more than like by 15 points or something like that. Mm-hmm. And like Patrick Mahomes was like minus 40. Like,
yeah.
It was just so high in Super Bowls. So it was like in the big game, Tom was always there. It was never a question whether or not he was going to show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that conversation closes. I mean, again, I think we're all, fans of the game enough to know that, Mahomes is going to go down as one of the greatest and, definitely be in the Hall and, be talked about for a long time. But for me personally, I don't think there's a conversation anymore on if Mahomes is even up Brady's level.
Yeah.
He's not, in my opinion. But.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of that, I know I kind of talked to you guys about a little bit I wanted to do, but since we were talking about quarterbacks, I wanted to talk about Jalen a little bit. And so I wanted to do a little thing with you guys. And Chris, I think from your perspective, it's going to be interesting. I kind of want to change it for you to be. So I'm gonna read off a couple of quarterbacks that are in the league right now. Jalen obviously is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but Chris, I want you to tell me if you would keep Jalen or if you would take this guy to put him onto the Eagles.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's an upgrade. And then for Brady and Braid, I want you guys to tell me if you personally think that this quarterback is better than Jalen. Like, in your own opinion, like, would you take Jalen or X quarterback? So I'm just going to read off a couple names, and I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right, let's go Justin Herbert.
Jalen Hurts.
Agreed.
Brady's thinking.
Brady, it's not that hard.
You're sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think I'd take Jalen.
You're taking Jalen. Okay. Let's go Jaden Daniels. Now you have to think. I'm not saying just this year. Like if you were to have Jaden Daniels on the Eagles long term, or like when everything is all said and done for Brady and Braid, do you think Jaden will be better than Jalen?
Ooh, that's a tough one because obviously
it is a tough
young,
one.
Right? If you're thinking long term, heck of a quarterback, had a great year, like incredible year, and you have him for a long time going forward. I think I'd take him just for the longevity side of it, and he's obviously because I mean how many years does Jalen have left realistically? I mean obviously he's not.
They're the same age.
Yeah, he's young.
Okay.
Jalen came out early.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Jaden Daniels is 24.
In the league.
Jalen,
Yeah, but still, you have 3 years longer in the NFL than Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
you obviously are going to have less time.
The hits are going to rack up.
Yeah. I think personally, I really like Jalen Hurts. I think one of the reasons why I really like Jalen Hurts is his mentality. I've liked it since college. Like he's just this, chip on the shoulder. I'm gonna stay quiet. I'm gonna go do my job. I'm gonna, work hard and then ultimately go out and prove it on the field. And that's always been that's kind of how I carried myself in sports. I was never a big talker, and I've always just kind of wanted to go do the work and then go put it on the field. But I think I'd take Jalen. I just think he fits the dynamic of the team that they have there. Like, I don't know if you slot somebody else in if they could go and kind of have that same mentality.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm picking my boy. Oh, go ahead, Kansar.
No, that's fine. We can keep going.
Ken, what's your answer on that one? I'm curious.
I'm a big fan of Jalen because I think Jalen is a locker room guy. Like, he's a stud. He performs. He shows up. I agree with what Brady said. I like that he's always kind of bet on himself. He stays quiet. He doesn't really do the whole media thing. He just kind of shows up, does his job, doesn't listen to the noise, and I appreciate it about them. And like I said, I think that ability to get people to rise to, their level of potential is something that Jalen is good at, and I think it's understated and underappreciated in the league. I think pure quarterback play, like if I was starting an organization and I was drafting a QB, I think I'm taking Jaden. I think he's a little bit of a better passer personally. I think Jalen is a good passer. I don't know if I'd put him in a great passer category, in my own opinion. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think if I would say right now who's better, I'd take Jalen. But if I was starting an organization, I think I'm taking Jaden.
Yeah, it's fair.
Fair.
Okay, so we'll go with another younger guy that's kind of like Jaden, but a little bit different. Let's go C.J. Stroud. He's got a little bit more proven track record. This year wasn't great, but had a really good first year.
I'm picking Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
I think C.J. Stroud, I think he's a good quarterback. I think a lot of his success comes because of Tank Dell. I think Tank Dell makes him look really, really good. And Jalen Hurts, obviously, we've got A.J. Brown, we got Devontae Smith, we got Saquon Barkley. So obviously he's got guys that make him look good sometimes too.
Sure.
But again, we go back to Jalen Hurts' mentality. I honestly, from a spectator standpoint, right? I don't know what goes on in the locker room. I don't know what goes on, all that stuff.
Sure.
But from what I have gathered from news and that kind of stuff, I don't think there's anybody in the league that has a stronger mentality than Jalen Hurts. And so I'm taking that all day, every day over having a quarterback where if he's got a good weapon, he's good.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, not great.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
I think I agree with Chris. I'm taking Jalen. I think from a maturity standpoint, right? He's mature in his decision making. He understands the game, makes good decisions most of the time. I mean, I agree with what Chris said. I think there's a lot of upside there, and I keep Jalen around.
I'll take Jalen as well.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go to the three that I think are gonna be the hardest to choose. So I'll save my personal one for a little bit later.
I think
yeah,
I
okay.
Yeah. But okay, so let's go Josh Allen.
And we're talking specifically putting him on the Eagles.
For Chris. I want Chris' perspective to be, would he take this quarterback and put them on the Eagles?
Okay, and then
now?
ours is just Jalen or Josh Allen.
Right.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
I'm picking Jalen,
Really?
and I am. There's a little homer in me, right? Obviously, because I love Jalen Hurts,
Sure.
but I think I like. I don't know. I think it's just the mentality thing. I'm thinking about the first 4 games of this season, first 4 or 5 games, Jalen Hurts had a lot of interceptions, had a lot of turnovers, fumbled the ball. He had 2 turnovers from that time until the end of the season. And it's just like the flip of a switch. He can turn his brain off to those bad decisions that he's making and flip it to making good decisions all the time. So I have to pick Jalen.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, go ahead, Brady and Brady. I'm curious to hear what you think.
Yeah, I think, and this one's a tough one. You're right, Ken. You're starting to get into that ground of like making me think about it. Because, I mean, both phenomenal quarterbacks. Obviously, both really well proven in the league, done a great job. But what I like, and I think I would keep Jalen for one simple thing is and we talked about this with the Super Bowl, like the grittiness that's there, the chip on the shoulder. I think it always feels like he's got something to prove, even when he was in college, right? He stayed quiet, but he's still trying to prove something. Like, I love that grit, and especially in a quarterback, from a quarterback, if you can have that grit and be that locker room leader, I think that puts Jalen above Josh Allen for me.
See, I'm gonna go the opposite. I think this is where.
Well,
I'd
you're
go.
wrong. Just kidding.
I would go Josh. I'd go Josh Allen.
Idiot.
I think part of it is paying a little bit more attention to the AFC.
You just like him because of Haley.
True, she's very attractive.
Wait,
My
can I
wife would
change my
agree
answer?
that she's also very attractive.
Haley Steinfeld. Haley Steinfeld is who we're talking about.
Yes.
But I think part of it. I mean, part of my biasness is probably from watching a lot of AFC ball. Right. Obviously, the Broncos being in the AFC have to compete with the Bills. Obviously, they just dismantled the Broncos this year in the playoffs. But I think Josh Allen. It's true. I mean, hey, we made the playoffs, so
You're going in the right direction.
I mean, you were gifted the playoffs because the Chiefs didn't want to play. We'll save that for another time.
still made it. Still made it.
Side
We'll
note.
save that for another time.
But I do think Josh Allen. I think if he doesn't get a ring, like, he may go down as one of the best quarterbacks to play the game that never won a ring. I think he's got all the things you like about him as far as his size, his arm strength. He's a proven runner, even though he's massive. I just think that he's a very complete quarterback in my eyes.
Sorry, really quick, Chris.
No, you're good.
This one is pretty easy for me, and I think it's Jalen. I think Jalen is Josh is obviously very talented. I think anybody that's a football fan can agree that he's a talented quarterback. This is the biggest discrepancy is the mentality for me between those two of them. Like,
Yep.
Josh Allen cannot get over Patrick
100%.
Mahomes. Like, he
he struggles with that, that's for
cannot get over the mentality. And Josh, for me, plays very arrogant without much to back it up. He had an MVP season. That's great. MVP is an individual award. A Super Bowl is a team award. And Jalen he might not be the same passer. He might not be this, freak athlete, but the mentality difference between the two will have me pick Jalen every time.
We call that being a dog.
Yeah, that's that. The Josh Allen one for me is probably one of the most interesting because I think if you're not an Eagles fan and you're watching, like, I feel like your instinct is Josh Allen. Like, he had an MVP season. He's a talented guy, but I think, like, when you look into it, it's hard to.
It's hard to say, yeah. I can see what you mean. And I mean, to be fair, like, even though he had an MVP season, I still don't think he deserved the MVP, in my personal opinion. I think it should have gone to
Saquon Barkley.
I thought it should have gone
Who
to
said that?
Saquon, or it should have gone to Lamar. In my opinion.
Now, I'm so tired of the Lamar
but-
MVP thing. Yeah, he's good.
Just looking at it was all stats.
The numbers
would say so.
The numbers do support that it should have been Lamar.
But I think what Saquon did, obviously, in the season, hasn't really been done. It's a generational season. yeah, I don't think Josh deserved it in my but I mean, yeah, I would agree. Josh is he's phenomenal. I think Jalen's coming onto the scene more and more over the last few years.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I feel like maybe Josh is fresher on the mind for the last few years. Has made it to the AFC Championship game a number of times, and obviously Jalen has as well. But
see, that's where the difference comes in for me. You make it multiple times. Who's been to 2 Super Bowls and who hasn't?
true.
And
Different conferences, but still.
right, but you're still playing really tough teams.
Sure.
And if he's going down as one of the best quarterbacks to never win a ring, to me that right there also is like, well, Jalen's better because guess what? He's got a ring.
Yeah,
so.
So, okay, so I think we're kind of all. So I'm curious, Chris.
You.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna ask in general because we've been talking about this for a little bit. Which quarterback are you taking over Jalen, if there is any right now?
There's one, and I think you know who it is. And I've told you this.
I mean, I think he's the only quarterback that rivals Jalen's mentality, personally. But I'm a little biased.
It's so hard for me.
A little bias.
Yeah.
Because I have told Canyon this before. I think Joe Burrow will come as close as you can to Tom Brady. I love Joe Burrow. And it's very, very hard for me to not choose Joe Burrow over Jalen Hurts.
Ken, do you want me to clip that part where he said
Yeah.
Joe Burrow and send it over to you?
Send that over to me, and I'll just have it run on replay.
Listen,
I'll make sure you
put that on the
have that handy
soundboard.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because-
right.
yeah, we can have that be the
He
opening.
knew what he was doing when he started this whole thing.
He prepped that whole
He
conversation
did.
just for that.
He
moment.
did. Listen, I'm picking. In that position, in that situation, I'm picking Joe Burrow.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
I think it'd be a unanimous decision across the board for all of us.
All taking Joe Burrow.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm picking Joe Burrow.
Okay.
As much as I love Jalen, and see, but then I think about it. Jalen can run the ball. Jalen's more versatile in that aspect of the game.
You can.
But
True.
But
Joe Burrow is he's different.
I think that goes back to the Tom Brady thing, right? Because you think of some of the best quarterbacks in the game.
Yeah.
Tom, Peyton. What were some of these quarterbacks that have ever played the game? What was one of their best traits? It was
Pocket
pre-snap.
presence.
It was
Yeah.
pre-snap reads.
Game managers.
It was reading the defense. It was managing the game. It was. I mean, you guys have all seen the clip of Tom Brady when he snaps the football and he's going to fake a handoff. He says, "Hey, it's cover 2." Tells his running back mid handoff, "Hey,
Yeah.
it's cover 2." Right? I think that's where some of these quarterbacks, and I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say Jalen doesn't do that, but I think quarterbacks like Jalen, even Lamar,
Yeah.
they don't have that pre-snap game knowledge, game manager. When it comes down and it matters, like they're going to go score. Like
Yeah.
it's like you're scared that it's going to happen
Yeah,
because it's like it is that likely.
It's incredible. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to like a Tom Brady or just even an NFL quarterback like diagnose a defense pre-play and say, "Oh yeah, this is where the open receiver is going to be, or this is where this needs to go." Like it's pretty incredible, and I think every quarterback in the NFL probably has that to some extent. But when you get these elite guys that can read a defense and know, perfect, I need to audible out of this play because this is where it's going to, where it's going to be open. This is where the gaps are going to be. Like at that point, they make it look easy. Like a Tom Brady, like a Joe Burrow. It's not easy, right? They
Yeah.
diagnose these defenses to where they can run this offense seamlessly, and according to these defenses, and it just makes them next level. Even if they don't have the ability to run the ball when broken plays come, like you guys were saying, if they have that ability, like it's next level.
Well, and have you ever listened to Tony Romo announce a game?
Yeah.
He calls almost every single play before it even happens. So, and he's another one of those that's a game manager. He couldn't run the ball. He's slow, right? But he's a good game manager. He knows how to read the defense.
Yeah.
So,
Do you
I have a
trust it,
hard-
though? He played for the Cowboys.
no one trusts them.
Terrible.
By the way, can we just jump over to the little cowgirls over there in Dallas and talk about Dak Prescott for a second?
What are you talking about? His little that they're close to the Eagles? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They are, Chris.
What is he thinking?
They're a couple players away, man.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't-
right there, dude.
Just
I
like
feel like
just
they're
like
just
52
hating.
players away.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, exactly.
We're like
They're really-
we're a
They-
full roster
Dude.
They
away.
might damn well be 53.
Dude. Yeah, well, they need Jerry Jones out of there before they can do anything.
At what they're
definitely
paying,
need
at what they're
geriatric
paying,
That
Dak,
dude's only
yeah,
got
they're
like 6 more
54.
months.
Yeah.
They're paying for 2 more people to add to their roster at that point.
Dude,
Yeah.
the fact that he even thinks that they're close. I know I'm an Eagles fan, so it's easy for me to say, screw Dallas, they suck.
The Giants are closer.
The
The Giants are terrible.
Dallas is not even close.
No.
They're not even close.
It's not.
They're so bad. Oh, we just need a running back. You need like a lot more than a running back.
But don't pick Deuce Vaughn. The
And-
dude's 5'3".
And here's the thing too, that a lot of people come out and they're like, well, what is he supposed to say, that they're forever away? It's like, no, but that is not. You are not.
You
close.
don't.
You
They
are
just won the Super Bowl.
You just look delusional at this point. That is not like. That is not having faith or being optimistic and being a leader. That is just being blindly delusional.
Yep.
Honestly, at this point, just swap him with the Dallas Renegades, get that XFL team in here. Probably a better
Literally.
switch out, honestly.
They might be able to compete.
Yeah.
They might.
Dude.
They are so bad, and
That brings-
I love every second of it. By the way,
That brings up a thought, Braden. I've always thought about this, and you guys have probably thought about this or heard about it, right? Thoughts on, like, if the NFL ever did something to where the best college team would replace the worst NFL team, right? I personally don't think many college, if any, college teams could compete in the NFL, just the level of play. But I think that's an interesting take.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun thing to kind of like think about, and I think maybe if you take a college team from a certain year against like an NFL team from a certain year, maybe like if you take like the Browns when they were just the scum of the league, and you take like maybe like I don't know,
Primetime
know.
Bama or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, or like that Florida Gators team, or that Miami team that had Ed Reed and
You could
Ricky
practically
Williams.
take the Georgia team that has the entire Eagles defense, but
That's true.
what do you
how
mean?
that's stacked up. I like the way you
Howie
guys
over
draft.
here.
We're just gonna keep picking from the same defense.
They just got a funnel
listen.
straight
How
from
it-
Georgia.
how-
Won us a Super Bowl.
Howie went to one game and it was a Georgia game, and he's like,
I
"Got
need
it.
Jalen Carter and Nolan
Draft
Smith and
them
N'Kobe Dean and
Let's just
Did
make it
Kirby
happen."
Smart get a ring too, or
Didn't they draft Kelly Ringo?
yeah,
Wasn't
Kelly
it?
Ringo. He's on the
Yeah,
Eagles.
he's
Yeah,
from Georgia. Oh,
yeah.
Their front
just the
three, I
farm
think.
system there?
Jordan Davis,
Yeah, it was Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter,
N'Kobe Dean, Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith,
Keely
Kelly
Ringo.
Ringo.
5 of the 11 starters, pretty much.
I don't know if Ringo starts. Does Ringo start?
No, he does not start.
I don't think.
No,
No, he doesn't. He doesn't play a whole lot.
he played in the Super Bowl in like the last
2 years
couple
ago.
minutes. No, he played
Oh, he played this
Sunday.
year.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of Vontae Maddox. That's what I'm thinking.
he played a lot in the Super Bowl
Yeah, sure.
this year.
Jumping back over to the Super Bowl. I know we've been going on here for about 43 minutes or something like that. I'd love to know your guys' quick takes as we kind of wrap things up here in the next next little bit. Some of the commercials. I think my favorite commercial was the Coffee Mate tongue commercial.
No, that
Dude,
there was too much human anatomy
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl. Like
the
I
skull
agree.
hat or
The
whatever it's
skin,
called,
the
skin
skin,
What?
the skin
What was
cowboy
that?
hats.
yeah,
Dude,
no.
I don't know.
concerned.
You and me both, pal.
Then the
I don't know.
tongues.
The tongues was weird.
I think Jack's he saw it and he's like, why are they moving their tongues like that? And I'm like, just don't watch.
Just
It's Janet Jackson all over again.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
it was just weird.
Uh,
The skin hats one was, yeah.
Did you guys see the Doritos commercial? The alien invasion, he's eating the Doritos and then they a light comes
Oh,
on.
yeah, that one was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, did you guys know that was a fan-made commercial? Like, Doritos put out a competition for people to make.
Well, they do that every year.
That's dope.
Do they?
I think they do. I think Doritos does that every year
Yeah, they
for
do.
the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But
There was one here in Eagle Mountain that was actually
Yeah,
it made it to
a
the
few
top
years ago.
3. No, it was
Really?
this year.
Oh, it was this year?
And it was really. I'll have to send it to you guys, but it was. They made it to the top 3, and they were put it in our city page saying, "Oh, everybody go vote," and it was actually way good. I'll have to find it and send it to you guys.
Do you remember the Doritos one with the pug that he's running at the door and he slams into the glass door?
Yeah.
That one was here in Utah.
Oh.
Man, we sure are a clever
Yeah.
bunch out here in
I just
Utah.
not-
Making a bunch of Doritos commercials.
Yeah.
I did not realize they did that all the time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think it's cool.
It is
Did they-
cool.
No, that's
And
way
I-
cool.
and
Did
I
they
thought
get
this
paid
last
out for
one
those?
was.
Oh, I'm sure they have to.
The price of a
think-
commercial is $30 million.
Yeah.
I don't think that they get any of the royalties. I think that
It's a one-time.
Doritos buys them out of the ownership of.
Hey,
the
I would
commercial.
gladly take a $2 million,
Same.
$3 million check for a Super Bowl.
Same.
I don't even know if it's that. I think I think it was like 250,000.
I'd take a $250,000.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I would take 250,000 in a heartbeat.
I'll take 100,000 packs of Doritos and I'll call it good.
There are very few things that I would not do for $250,000.
Like.
All right, moving on to the next commercial. That we're
Listen,
doing.
give me more Shane Gillis and Post Malone together.
Oh, that was-
Yeah, that was
really good
solid.
time.
That was
great.
solid.
Those were good.
I love Shane Gillis and Post Malone.
Dude,
They're hilarious. It was awesome. And
I-
Peyton Manning in there was great.
Oh, it's so good.
Peyton's
I got
a
to
good
tell you guys a story actually because
Oh, jeez.
this happened during a commercial. So Super Bowl, my whole family's at my parents' house, full house, and we're sitting there. It's a commercial, so everybody's getting their food and getting up, hurry before the game starts back up again. And we're standing there, and everybody's just kind of moving around. And all of a sudden, this random family walks through the front door, walks down the hallway into the kitchen, puts their dish that they brought, it was like a casserole, on the counter, sits down
What?
while these commercials are going, and we're sitting there, and all of us, you guys know my family, it's like, okay, sweet, somebody invited them. But no joke, 5 minutes later, this mom stands up, looks around with panic in her eyes and goes, "We're at the wrong house." and I watch the lady stand up, the son stand up, the dad stand up, and grab their casserole and book it out of
They
the
didn't even
house.
say anything?
They all she said was, "I think we're at the wrong house," and they
You think?
booked it out. Yeah, I'm like, it took you 5 minutes. You looked around for 5 minutes and finally
you're
realized
just-
you don't
You
recognize
waited
a
2
single
weeks to
person.
tell us this?
Yeah. I mean, we should have looked
Oh
and seen if the
my
casserole
gosh.
looked good, but we were.
I cannot believe that.
How do you walk into someone's house and just wrong one?
Oh no, I missed that one.
Not just one person, 3 individuals.
Three.
So
The
how
mom,
old was
mom
the
and
son?
dad and
the son was like 18.
3 people walked in and they didn't realize they were in
So
the
had
wrong
they
place.
just not been to the? Had they not been to wherever they were going?
I don't know. They were there for 5 minutes, didn't say a word, and left. I couldn't
Did
ask.
you guys say a word to any of them?
No, well, we tried to follow him out, be like, no, everything's okay. But they I've never seen someone so mortified in my life. This mom, didn't look back, booked it out, not a single word after that. Head down, out the door with her casserole.
Was the dad laughing? Like,
No, the dad was embarrassed too. The son was
They-
laughing.
I'll tell you what, they are lucky they walked into the Crook home.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's a lot of other homes that they walk into that they do not walk out of there breathing.
Yeah, hey, some gunshots may have been fired. I don't know, but
first off, the fact that they just walked in is the
Yeah.
fact that's like,
Well,
right
I
from
mean-
the get go. Like, it'd be one thing if they knocked on the door and they were like, "Oh, wrong house." No, they just decided to
Like
open
we
it.
walk in, we
Honey,
walk
I'm
into
home.
we walk into their house all the time.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
But we've been friends for 20 years.
But here's the thing: somebody invited them to whatever party they were going to. when they didn't see that person, did they not think, oh, maybe I should call him, text him? Maybe I'm not at the right house?
My brain cannot compute how there were multiple instances that should have been very clear indicators that they were not supposed to be there, and all three of them just skipped over them multiple times.
They're walking down my parents' hallway looking at the family pictures like, oh yeah, those look nice. Those are great. I don't know any of them, but that looks like a nice family.
How do you walk into a room with a bunch of people and not recognize a single person and not realize?
I'd be like, I'm going to take a seat on this couch. It looks nice.
Here's my casserole.
Let me just put my casserole down.
When did Doug get a bidet?
Hey, don't dog on the bidets.
That would have been wild if they came in and used the bathroom and they're like,
Oh, date it.
Wrong place. I know they don't use
sorry,
bidets
I
here.
just absolutely destroyed that.
I was talking to somebody at work today. I'm like, what if next year we just get 4 casseroles and we just go drop into different houses during the Super Bowl to see if anybody says anything?
You will get shot.
Yeah, you might not make it out.
Listen,
Depends on what neighborhood you're in.
yeah,
You know what? She sounds like the type of person to bring a tuna casserole. To the
Yeah.
Super Bowl party.
that's why we weren't too quick to stop her, because if she didn't know she was at the wrong house, her casserole sucked.
It feels like she brought a tuna casserole after all the tuna recalls and all the stuff that's going on. That she brought. A tuna
That sucker
casserole.
was left over from 2 weeks ago dinner.
I think
2 weeks ago.
I think there's a few things missing in all three of them. If I'm being honest.
Yeah,
I don't.
That is insane.
Yeah, I don't know how you walk into. I don't know. I would have a hard time walking into any place, even if I knew only one person. Like that would be the thing. It's like
Yeah, you knock on the door.
if one person invited, if one person invited me, there's no way I'm just walking in
Well, I'm
expecting to see that one person when I know that there's a bunch of other people there. Like,
yeah, I'm calling the person that invited me when I
Yeah.
get there and being like, "Hey, I'm here. Are you here?" I'm not just walking into somebody's house,
you're walking in, kicking your feet up on the couch.
dude.
That is the part that doesn't make any sense to me. If you feel comfortable enough to walk into somebody's home, you have had to have been there enough times to know what it looks like.
Yeah.
I also wonder, your family's the friendliest family ever, and you guys, not one of you guys just said, "Hey, how's it going?"
I can believe that Dave didn't say
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Well, they walked in and we had other people that were invited by my brother-in-law that we didn't really know, so all of us kind of expected okay, cool, somebody else got invited. Not a soul knew him. Not a single soul. There was 30 people at my house. Not a soul knew him.
And you know what? And that mom is probably on a podcast telling her listeners about that same story, and it's probably something completely different.
She's probably telling them that his family kicked her out of their Super Bowl party, and
No, she's scarred, is what she is.
Yeah.
that is insane.
That's a pretty crazy story.
yeah, wild stuff. So
That's way funny, Braid.
Going back to the commercials and to kind of keep up with our bit from last week for the asshole of the week, I think there's 2 nominations. I feel like I'm always the one that brings up the assholes of the week, but
You might have to
there's
keep it that way, but
We should just call it Canyon's Assholes of the Week.
that's fine. We can do Canyon.
Canyon's
I like
just
that.
avoiding from being on that list. So if he heads it up, he knows he can't put himself on the list.
Yeah, that's true. So that you guys can't throw me on there after a night of playing Call of Duty.
Ass.
the ass of the week.
So did
know
you
I'm
guys
a
see?
super senior of the
Did
week.
you guys see the? So Kanye had a commercial in the Super Bowl. Did you see that commercial?
His swastika shirt.
I do not remember.
He had a shirt. He had a link to go to his website to buy a shirt, and it was a plain shirt, clear as day. Had a big old swastika on it.
No hiding, literally just
no,
straight
no,
swastika.
that's
It
literally
was-
all it was.
Just
Really?
a swastika on it.
Good for him.
There was
Yeah,
no,
that's great.
It wasn't like hidden in anything. It wasn't small. It was just as big as can be on the front of a shirt, a swastika.
Dude,
God.
I don't even know what to say. First of all, second of all, did you see him and his wife on the red carpet?
Oh yeah, he made her
A few
dress
weeks
naked
ago.
So she could be the
That
most
she
Googled.
wasn't dressed at all.
Dude,
It's
what
wild.
is wrong with that guy?
Yeah, Kanye.
that guy's
Kanye
messed
has
up
some
in the head, dude.
serious screws loose.
Oh my gosh, dude.
He's
And
got
that-
some
It just,
problems.
I think it just points to. I saw a clip today. Somebody was talking about they were on a podcast. I think it was the guy from. It's a Netflix show, Night something.
Night Agent.
Night Agent. Yeah, the guy from Night Agent.
Great show if you haven't watched it.
Very good show.
I
I'm
have not
excited for
watched
season
it.
3
I
to
might-
come out.
I
Season
might
3 is
watch
going
it
to come
'cause of
out,
this guy.
and it's good.
It's very good.
But he was saying he's like, I don't think famous people should be like I don't think celebrities should be famous. He's like, if you look back in time, they are the jesters. They're the entertainers. They're just there to entertain people.
Yeah.
It's an
And
interesting
then
take,
all of a
actually.
sudden, people are looking to them for their political stance or religious
Yeah.
stance or whatever on things, and they're given all the spotlight and attention for views of people that are, back in the day, the people that were entertaining everybody were the jokes of the town, and weren't
Yeah.
taken seriously. And now those people have kind of risen to this tier of, almost idolization, and it's like,
Why?
yeah, and he was just like, you should go do your job, entertain people, and then shut up.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
you should do.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know how Kanye has a platform.
And
Yeah, the
that-
fact that he still does is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It blows my mind, especially like stuff as blatant as that's like what are you doing? Like, what is
Yeah,
your
that-
end goal here?
It definitely puts you in the running
It's
for
just-
asshole of the week. Justin Tucker did have 6 more accusations come out.
Hey,
So-
Good for
Does he
him.
get round 2? Does
he's
he
moving
go
up that
down?
list.
No, I don't want
Two
to. I don't want to give that guy any more time or attention. I think the only other one for me is the. Did you guys see the Hims/Hers commercial?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one was terrible too.
Probably,
Yeah.
but I don't remember it.
So you know what Ozempic is, right?
Yeah.
So Ozempic is pretty expensive. I know a few people that are on it. I mean, to each their own. But it's the big issue was that Hims and Hers was like, oh, you should take care of yourself, and taking Ozempic is bad. And I mean, I forget the details of it, but it was essentially just like body shaming people.
Oh,
And-
good.
And then they were like, instead of buying Ozempic, buy our cheap version of Ozempic. And that was kind of their like whole marketing ploy for that commercial.
Dude,
So
really snuck
Hey.
that one in there.
yeah,
We'll make you feel bad about your body,
Yeah.
but not with the title of Ozempic.
We'll make you feel
exactly.
bad with your body, but you can fix it for cheaper now.
yeah.
Like what?
Dude.
Hey, Ozempic sucks, but not ours because it's not as expensive
Because it's literally the same thing, but we're going to charge you $20 less.
and it's not FDA approved.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Dude.
Some side effects may
Some side effects will definitely occur.
You may grow some additional limbs.
You may get fatter. We don't really know.
We don't know.
This is the first time we're doing this. We just want.
But it's a way for us to make some money off of you, so you should buy it.
But
Dude.
we're being inclusive because it's him and hers.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yeah. Hey,
Politically correct.
never
now.
mind.
It's him,
I won't
it's hims
go
and
there.
hers. It's hims and hers.
Never mind.
Jeez.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
terrible.
those are the only two that I wanted to give a shout out from. I feel
Let's
like
just give them both the asshole. The
Yeah.
assholes
Yeah,
of the
it's
week.
doubled
I
up
think
this
they're
week.
both- It's a toss up. Both of
Okay,
them those
it's-
are terrible to be honest.
Canyon,
Like,
Canyon's assholes of the week are
so we have an
Hims
asshole,
and Kanye West.
it's hims
And then
and
we-
hers, Chris.
My bad.
Be more
Sorry.
inclusive, Chris. What the heck?
Jeez.
and then we,
We're going to
Sorry.
add to the list.
so we had one
Goodness.
asshole, and then we ripped a new one for Kanye.
We got, what we got to do is we got to start. I know we're like kind of new to the whole podcast scene thing, but we got to start pulling up clips and pictures, and we could, quickly share those and be able to.
I don't
kind
know if we should share a picture of the swastika shirt.
No,
Yeah,
no, maybe
fair
not
enough,
that.
that's
a quick way
you know
to
what?
get canceled.
Yeah, okay, you know what? Yeah,
Brady,
shut
are
up,
you
Brady.
trying to get
I'm
out
gonna-
of
I'm
this?
just gonna.
Shut up, Brady.
I'm gonna see myself out.
I
you guys,
agree.
you guys
we
recap
should-
this nicely.
Yeah, we can do some clips. We can do some clips for sure. But
All right. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about before we end this stuff?
well, what's your? Should we do our predictions for next year, or should we say
Eagles win the Super Bowl. That's it. It's over. We done? Time to go.
That was not fun.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Um,
That's what I thought.
It's hard to say. It's hard
Still
to
early.
debate
The
against
Dallas
it.
Renegades.
I'm gonna make a prediction. Say the Chiefs don't even make the AFC Championship next week.
Whoa. Next week.
Next year.
Accelerated.
Whoa.
I think the Eagles make it back
To the Super Bowl.
to the Super Bowl.
Win.
To the Super Bowl.
And they win.
Next year.
And they win.
I thought you said win as in time.
No.
February
Next
next
week.
year.
I think they make it back to the Super Bowl. As far as the AFC goes, if the Bagels can fix their defense,
Did
they
you
might
just
be.
say the bagels?
It's basically what they were this year.
Oh, boom.
It's true.
That's how many playoff wins they have this year.
Okay.
hey, but I think here's the thing. I think the Chiefs' window is over. Honestly, I think if they wanted to win it again, it was this year. They have too many free agents, too many people that are going to walk. Travis Kelce should retire.
Well, that's one of my hot takes. I think Travis Kelce is either done or he's not going to be with the Chiefs next year.
I don't see him signing with another team.
I don't either.
I agree, but I also I don't think he's going to sign with another team. But the Chiefs are not going to bring him back. I don't think.
No, he should retire.
I agree.
I think that's the right choice.
Yeah. We should
but
put
as
a
far
pin
as-
in that to dive into it next podcast.
Yeah,
Good
we
idea.
We can dive more into predictions and stuff of that for next year. Kind of going into the off season. This is a fun time. I think there's going to be some super fun podcasts coming up, talking about college football, talking about the draft coming up, and hopefully what your ideal draft situation would be for your team. Like those are some things that obviously we can dive into. But no, I'm excited. This is one of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah.
Quick prediction, Canyon.
Ooh, I'm gonna say Lions. I'm gonna say Lions Bengals,
Oh, jeez.
and I think the Bengals win it.
Okay. Well, now we're just getting into hopes and dreams, and
31.
that's just never going to happen.
31-20.
Okay. Well,
Book it.
all right.
Book it. You heard it here first.
Okay.
As much as I don't want to do this because Chris's head's already too big for. I think the Eagles will make it back, especially after finishing the season like that. Too many
And
weapons.
signing Miles Garrett in the offseason. Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
not signing Miles Garrett.
Yeah, I keep dreaming, Chris. I think they'll take it next year.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
You're a Rams fan.
Well, I wasn't going to say the Rams. I know better than that.
Well, Matthew Stafford might be gone, but
Yeah, true.
And Cooper
I was
Kupp's
going to say
gonna be
Cooper
gone.
Kupp's
Cooper
for sure
Kupp's gone.
That's a signed, sealed, delivered, gone. So
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining us again, everybody. Listening to a couple of idiots talk about some football. Yeah, we appreciate you. See you next time.
We'll see you next time.